Record. All right, this is the first call of August. It is like absolutely insane to me that we are this far into the year, and without a doubt, 2020 will be here in a flash. So we are back from Summit, and for me, I don't know about the rest of you, but I took some time to digest the information that came from Summit, and this year it was a lot different than previous years. It was more digestible, really what we needed, and I was in Texas for a little bit after Summit, and so I've had time to really think about it, but I came back and just started implementing the stuff that I already knew and implementing the new stuff that has been, brought up. And I've spent time talking to coaches that have been in this for a while, who, experience the ebbs and flows, yet, are having a hard time because they know all the things they need to do to get back on track, but they are having a hard time. And I will tell you from experience, you know what works, and what worked for me 7.5 years ago still works. The delivery method might be different, but it's kind of a challenge when you know what you have to do and you try to do it all at once. And so my suggestion to you is get back to basics, work on you first, reach out to the team. And I shared last night on the call that Melissa hosted for our big Diesel Nation is that I have a tendency to just withdraw, not to hide, but just withdraw. That's my mode of operation. But since I've been really leaning in, connecting with my people, I found that I've had more like recovery or aha moments by talking to people. And so lean in. Our team, we've all been through incredible things. We're here. You're going to feel alone if you choose to be alone. And that's coming from me and my experience. So I wanted to encourage you to just do your best, reach out. I've been really encouraging people to share their stories. There's a lot of people who are, very apprehensive about it, and it's scary, and it's easy to look at somebody like me who shares so openly, but I've been doing it for years and years and years, working with life coaches, personal development, so you'll get there. And I'm hoping that what you get from this call will give you some courage to do this and help other people. But if you ever need help kind of putting together your story, I am busy, so I can't promise you I'll be able to crank it out the next day, but I'm more than happy to talk to you and go over stuff. I actually talked to a coach the other day, and we kind of did like an interview where I knew the basics about her, but I started asking more questions, and I got a gist of her, and I realized that even though right now you would never know it, she's got this rebellious side to her that even though she looks like she's, follows the rules, she's not going to jive with people like that now because she's still got that rebellious vibe about her. So I challenge her to write down all of these crazy things that she did when she was, a young child that was rebellious, because she was telling me some of the things, and she sent me her whole list of it. And what was crazy to me is I told her I literally could have written everything she sent to me, and she sent me about 20 different things. I just had to change the location or the names. And really, that's all in this business that we're looking for, is to have that moment of when you meet somebody, oh my God, me too, we're so much alike. That's all we're really trying to do. And so sharing your story builds that know, like, trust factor, which can lead into, bigger and better, deeper relationships. And that's what Emily's going to talk about. I've been friends with her for years. She's absolutely amazing. She was a corporate badass, and now she's following her passion, helping people, and she's a life coach. And so I asked her to speak on this topic because I was speaking to a new client today that I signed up, and I was like, I started for the vanity reasons, and I had no idea what it would do for my life and change. And personal development is why I was able to make these changes lasting and get through those crazy times like Melissa and I talked about in the call last night. And this is what is going to help you have success. You're not a therapist. You maybe don't want to be a life coach, but when you learn how to work with people and figure out what the problem is, then you can be more of a solution that's going to make a big difference to them and in their life. So I'm going to hand it over to Emily.
Awesome. It's almost as if I teed you up, because I swear to you, I'm going to talk about every single thing that you just mentioned, including your story. And what I like to go off of is something that I call the me to we model, because if you don't know you, it's really hard to help other people in any capacity of your life. So you've got to get right with me to move to we. I'm a big fan of words that rhyme, so enjoy that. The first thing I want to talk about is what we all get, right? So like you, because we're going back to me, you sign up with somebody that you connected with, they got you all fired up, and you are ready for this health and fitness journey, right? Because they've made it sound like you are, I don't know, in Braveheart or Conan the Barbarian, like you're just all fired up and it's going to be this epic tale of adventure. And then you hit like, buy. And then you say to yourself, well, I know I could do the workouts now, but I really want to do the nutrition at the same time. So I'll just wait until the box comes that has like the containers and the shake so I can just do it all together. And then the box comes and you have everything you need to change your life. That's it. That's all you need. Everything is in that box. You have your workout. You have a workout calendar that you can pull up online. There's like 7,000 of those. There's tons of meal plans. There are meal prep videos. There's breakfast, because that's what Shakeology is for most people. And you now have this box of magic, right? Your life is magically changed, except you still don't look good naked. Like nothing has changed. And what I would say is a lot of us think that it's motivation. That's the problem. I need to get motivated. And I'm going to throw this a different way and say we, and when I say we, every single person that's on this call, including myself, and anyone that is a client of yours, doesn't have a motivation problem. They have a coping problem. Have you ever had anybody come to you and say, my life was going so well that I stopped working out? What? No. Or I was so happy that I stopped working out. No. Everything worked out so perfectly and I had all this additional time in my life, so I stopped working out. That's happened to like no one I know. What happens is people get excited, they get the box, they decide on Monday morning that they are going to be vegan, that they are going to do the strictest form. Maybe it's like the 3-day refresh. They're going to start with that. And then they're going to go straight into, shredding for the wedding activities. They're going to do all these things that are so incredibly rigorous. And then by Wednesday, they hate themselves. And life is hard because they have to go to work and maybe they have a baby and, the baby was up all night. So that workout that they wanted to get up at 5:30 and do, they decided not to do. So why am I going into all this? Because this is the real life of every single person that is a part of your team. This is exactly what they face on a daily basis. And what I'm talking about is all coping. When you have a hard day at work or something like that, what do you turn to? Most of us are trained to turn to food, alcohol, drugs, anything that is destructive, binge watching Netflix. All of those really don't help your health and fitness journey. So then you end up going down a spiral. What I want to do, though, is share with you what that is, why that occurs, and how to derail it in a really productive way, not a destructive way. So all of us on earth have the same 6 human needs. And I'm going to be using my hands a lot. We're going to pretend like we're on a ladder and we're painting a house. So when you are on a ladder painting a house, you don't walk up the ladder, paint one part of it, and stay right there. That is exactly how these 6 human needs work. Each rung of the ladder is a different human need. Just like in the image that I was giving you of painting a house, you're not staying on one spot. You are constantly moving in and out of all of your needs. But just like the ladder, you have to start somewhere. So we're going to start at the bottom and work up. And I'm going to talk about this in terms of the 6 human needs of health and fitness. Now, these are honestly your 6 human needs for anything in life. But because we were talking about keeping clients really in it to win it, and it is winning their health back because we do have an epidemic on our hands in terms of health and wellness and coping in this awesome country that we live in. So what I want to start with is the most basic need. The most basic need is certainty. So what is certainty? Certainty is sameness, it's safety, it's security. The house you live in and the school that your kids go to and the street that you drive down, the car you drive in, the job you go to, that is a level of safety and security that a lot of people have trouble moving out of, because you've built that sameness. You as people, we as all people, need a certain level of sameness to feel secure. That's why when you hear about people that are like, we moved around a lot, I never felt like I had a home, that is really eating away at the first rung of their human need. You have to have a basic level of certainty. So once you feel that, though, once you have a level of certainty, you are going to move into the next one, which is the antithesis, and it's uncertainty, also known as variety. And if you think about it, if you did the same thing every single day, day in, day out, if you ate the same thing every single day, day in, day out, if you did the same workout every single day, day in, day out, you will get bored. And that is why the next level is variety. So variety in workouts can be, going into your on demand and doing a different workout, spicing it up a little bit. The new program 100 is just really awesome for that, because I feel like every day is variety. So they're definitely playing on that, which I love. But you need a certain level of that. Now, you don't need it so much that your life is chaotic, but you do need variety. So once you have variety, you are going to move into significance. And significance is not you making others feel significant. It's actually still internal, and it's you feeling significant. So you have to have a level of significance. Now, a lot of this comes from when we see changes in our bodies. When we see that we are making a change, we start to feel significant, right? Because we see that what we're doing day in and day out is paying off. But some people don't see that for a while, so that can derail them. So they start to feel insignificant because they're not seeing the results fast enough. But let's pretend you're on a healthy path here. So the next thing that happens once you have significance is you move into love and connection. And this makes sense, right? If you feel significant, you can then move into what I like to call a two-way street, giving and receiving love and connection. And the reason I say both is because I know these people that are amazing givers. Oh my goodness, they would give you the shirt off their back. But the minute you say, oh my gosh, you look amazing, they're like, oh, no. Oh my gosh, I still need to lose 10 pounds. And, my hair looks bad. I don't even have makeup on. I can't believe you say that. They just brush the compliment right off. And those people are struggling with actually receiving love and connection. They can give it all day long, but they have trouble receiving it. And then other people receive it, but they don't know how to give it. And I would even say that there's a level of significance they're struggling with, and that's why they can't get there. But in the perfect world, again, we're moving up the pattern. You are going to move into growth. And growth is personal development. It is reading something. It is taking a class. It is getting books at the library. It is watching YouTube videos that fill you and grow you and change you. And what happens naturally when you grow? You want to share it with other people. And so that is the top human need, which is contribution. And contribution is a beautiful thing, because when you hit contribution, you have now peaked at the top of your ladder. And now you are going to be moving up and down the ladder constantly. So I want to talk about moving up and down the ladder, because what I've just given you is a list of needs. I have not talked about something that's very important here. And that is, we all have the same 6, right? But our vehicles to fulfill those are as different as the people that are on this call. Everybody fulfills their needs differently. So a vehicle is your choice du jour, if you will. So I'll give you an example. I love working out. Working out is definitely part of my certainty. It feeds my certainty. But I also love doing different things, so it feeds my variety, because I know how I'm going to feel when I do it, so it makes me feel certain, But sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I wonder what workout I should do today, because I've already graduated from pretty much every program. So let me just throw on something I haven't done in a while, throw in some variety. And honestly, when I work out, because I work out first thing in the morning, it sets my significance level, because I say to myself, if I accomplish this, I can do anything else the rest of the day. So it's like I peak, in a really positive way for myself so that I can give to others, which leads me to connecting with my clients, which is exactly what I love doing. I love connecting with others. And then, of course, working on personal development and all of that. So if you are a healthy person doing this and you are in this, you can be addicted. So what an addiction is it's when you have when something you are doing meets 3 of your human needs. So let me give you another example of overeating. So how would overeating fulfill 3 of your human needs? So one is, how you're going to feel when you overeat. And so that's, we say comfort food. That's where that comes from, because it's security. So it's giving you security. And then maybe you have been eating so carefully for a week and you're like, I just need this so bad. You're feeding into variety by doing this. And then something else that can happen is you get mad at yourself and you reach out to a friend and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this. This was so awful. And that friend comes over to your house. You have this amazing night together and your friendship grows and it's so amazing. Well, your overeating has now made love and connection, it's cemented it in its head that if I do this and I talk about it, that I'm going to receive love and connection and feel a little bit more significant, because that's exactly what your friend was doing, was feeding you significance. So in a way, by doing that destructive behavior, you are fulfilling actually 4 of your human needs. And that is why it's an addiction. It's a coping mechanism, right? So what I would rather do is change those coping mechanisms so that when you have that bad day, that you do a workout instead, and that you call that friend and she celebrates you for doing the workout, so that you're still getting the love and connection and you're still feeling significant for doing it. And if you're a coach, which all of you are, you're sharing it with other people. And that's the highest level, right? If you reach contribution, by the way, contribution in and of itself is creating an addiction, which is really special, because you are growing others and yourself, because that's what happens when you bring somebody new on, is you're teaching and growing them. You're creating love and connection with that person. And you feel significant, by the way, because you see what you're doing for others. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great thing, actually. And then every interaction is different. We can't give you these canned speeches of, when you call Sally, you need to say exactly these things, because Sally is different than Sam, is different than Fred, is different from Sarah. And that's what makes it exciting. That's what makes it fun. But certainty is fed because you know what's going to happen to that person. If they feel truly connected to you, they will stay on this journey. But the problem is, like I said, is the coping mechanisms for when things derail. And I think that that's what we don't talk about enough as coaches, is shit's going to go wrong. Like, it is. Your life is not perfect. If it is, that's amazing. Please start some sort of reality show. I want to watch greatness, because my family is a shit show every day. Love them to death, but oh my gosh. My daughter got off the bus today. She's in the 2nd grade, and told me that she has decided to retire. So I'm like from school. So my parents are retired. She understands they don't work and they don't have anything to do. So she's like, I'm in for that. I'm going to just stop everything. So anyway, that's where my life is right now. What I'm trying to say is nobody's life is perfect, and you need to have things in place so that you don't go down the wrong path. And I'm talking about you personally, because once you figure out your destructive coping mechanisms and you turn them into productive coping mechanisms, you share them. You share those with people. And earlier, Mindy was talking about your story. Guys, you need to be talking about your destructive stories. What do you do? Do you, and I don't know anyone who would do this, do you buy your husband a box of candy for their birthday and then eat it all yourself? I did that last week. It's not really a coping mechanism. It's just really good chocolate. So what stories are you not sharing, and why? Because honestly, people connect more to the mess than they do to the neat. I think the neat actually turns people away because they don't see themselves. When they see a level of, wow, that person really was struggling with overeating at night when the kids went to bed because they were stressed about work, or not feeling good enough to even start a workout because they didn't feel like significant enough to even start something like that. And you as a coach, honestly, you need to take all of this and actively listen. So the other piece of this that I would say is missing from all of society is connection. And I see it more and more every single day. People struggling with depression, people struggling with anxiety, and things that should be evaluated by a professional. Also, that medications, I think, definitely need to come into play. But people typically aren't going to do those things without somebody saying, I love you and care about you, and I will go with you. I will help you. I will reach out with you in those things. And, it's so sad when it's too late and you can't help somebody in that regard. And I'm mentioning that because I do think it's all related to health and fitness. And we as coaches have a hard job, a great job, an important job to reach out to somebody. And here's the thing, is this business is online, right? So it's online. So that means I can just message people, I can text them. You know what you should do? You should pick up the phone, because if something happened to one of your really good friends, wouldn't you call them? Call that friend and say, you know what, we haven't chatted in a while. Are you doing okay? Especially somebody that was all fired up day one when they got their package in the mail and then they go MIA. Call them, or pull out your phone and create a video for them and text it to them. That way they see your face and they hear your voice and they connect with you and they understand that it's deeper. And you can say whatever you want, as if they were on the other line. I do this for a lot of my clients. And what I do is I pretend like we're FaceTiming. They just aren't talking to me. So I'll have a conversation with them. And sometimes they will send me a message back where it's a video. And that's really special to me because I know I reached them. So don't forget that once somebody signs up, not only should they not take their foot off the gas pedal, but it is time for you to really put your foot down on the gas pedal. Ask them questions, work through these things with them. And the best way to do it is to actively listen about where they are in their lives and think, if somebody says, my schedule just doesn't allow for this, you know what? Some of that is a security. So the certainty level, it's a certainty issue. They are very, very comfortable in the world that they have created, so much so that their security blanket is now smothering them. You need to give them a little bit of variety to get out of that. So throwing in, making it fun, if that's what motivates them, hey, let's turn all the lights out and just have the TV on, and we'll do our workout at midnight. It'll just be crazy. I've actually done that and it's super fun. Really listen to them and listen to the need that you feel like they need. I could never work out at home because it's too boring. Really? What I just mentioned, by the way, would totally work for a variety as well. It's fun. It's exciting. And I've seen so many people that use Zoom to connect with each other while they're working out. And I think that's fun because then it's like you've created a class. If they're not feeling significant, this is difficult, right? Because as a coach, I used to do this all the time, and I would say, but you are significant. You are so amazing. Everything about you is so great. Y'all, that doesn't help. I mean, it's fine, right? You want to be nice to people, but you can't fill other people's cups. There are certain things that you can give them the tools, but you cannot fix them fundamentally. And what I would say is when somebody feels that way, give them space. So if they want to cry, let them do that. Ask them questions, but don't try to solve anything. Just give them the space. Typically, if you let people have a moment, and it can be with silence, by the way, silence is so beautiful. If you give them a moment on the phone, in person, on a Zoom call, whatever that is, they typically can work out their own feelings. They just need somebody there holding that space with them. So don't discount that. Don't discount reaching out. And what I would say as well as empathize and empower. So like I said, you're going to hold that space for them and everything, but you need to start empowering them as well in terms of, all right, so we've got our challenge group going. I want you to report in, give them an accountability, whatever it is that that person needs, make sure that you're there for them, but empower them. And the best way to empower them is say, because next month you're going to help lead this with me, or because next week we're going to get 2 more people to join us and do this thing, or whatever it is. Empower them. Everyone wants to feel like they matter. And when you give them a job or a chore or something to make them feel empowered, hey, you know what, this week, if you wouldn't mind, could you go in the group and do the motivational quotes for this week? Anybody can do that, right? And having them have that schedule or whatever else empowers them and starts lifting them out of their own funk. I would also recommend, if your groups are private, which I'm sure they are, having them tell their story of insignificance or whatever that is with the group. Tell them this is a safe place, and I want you to go back in and share this story, because I know that Sarah and Fred are also struggling with this, and the power of your connection and being able to help them would be really, really wonderful. So you're empowering them by saying, if you help somebody else, and this is very true, if you are helping others, you can't focus on your own crap, which is really awesome. And then you grow yourself. So that's really what I had to say in terms of turning your destructive into productive and teaching others how you've done that through active listening and holding that space. That's truly important. And understanding that magic box that we all love and we thought would just solve everything in our lives, it doesn't solve our coping mechanisms until we go into who we fundamentally are and how we tick and what makes us who we are. So, and we help others, because contribution is number 1. So I'm going to stop there and see if anyone has any questions, or if there's anything you want me to go into, because I would love to talk more if you would like me to.
Does anybody have any questions? Speak now. Diane, I see you moving. Do you have a question? Maybe not. I thought she was going towards the button.
I know. I was like, is she going for it?
Waiting for it. What Emily was saying just reminds me of who is she? Who's talking?
I think she's done now.
It just reminds me of the whole, cliche of put your oxygen mask on first. And that's really important. I found it's like kind of double-sided. When I'm helping other people, it keeps me from being depressed and feeling sorry about myself. And like I said in the beginning of the call, talking to other people, you have your aha moments. And when you're so focused on helping somebody else, it makes it less about you and you feel less alone. But, what Emily said is so right. I know steps. I need to stick to it. maybe she'll tell you about like some of her programs. I know she has some very affordable programs, because here's the thing is we're all struggling with this. And even though I know a lot of stuff she was saying, I forget. And just because we're coaches, just because we learn, doesn't mean that we need to stop, that we can stop doing that. But if you want to be effective and make a difference and feel that significance, you need to work on yourself. And then once you've been able to master that, you can help somebody else. And then there's just, it's more encouraging in numbers. And Diane said something. Oh, it was really good. Yes, I agree. Did you want to tell me about some of your programs?
Yeah, so I'm going to start with low to high. So we're going to go free, which is always good. I have a podcast called The Leadership Playbook. And the reason it's called The Leadership Playbook is because you have to shift yourself into a different mindset when you go from a doer to a leader. You have to be a teacher. There's a lot of different things you have to do. And I actually do have a program called the Leadership Playbook, where I walk you through a playbook of the 8 leadership laws that will change your mindset into everything a leader does to make you unstoppable. And some of the things, just to give you an idea, are being reflective and being resourceful. And I give you exercises that you can do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to keep yourself in line, to make sure that you are leading the life of a leader and not a doer or a complainer or a victim. So that program itself is about $400, but you could pay $47 a month for 12 months. That's an option. And then I do offer a once a month group coaching call. I was talking about this a little bit earlier. That's $37 a month. You are not locked in for anything. You can do just 1 month and then decide you're done, or you can sign up for an entire year, or you can just go month to month. A lot of people do month to month, which is totally fine. And each month on the 3rd Tuesday of the month, I go over a topic. Some of the topics have been time management. They have been fearless leadership, and what other people's opinions are, and going down into the one thing. So what is the one thing that's holding you back, and what is the one thing that should be your passion and your goal, and how to find that. So that's been really fun. I send out a PDF as well, so that when I'm talking, you have something to follow along with. I record everything. It's all referenceable. So if you can't make the call, you've got all of that. And I do have a group, a private group on a different platform where you can actually ask questions and watch the videos and all that good stuff.
Perfecto. So all of you were in the event invite, and if you're not, then get it from me or Melissa or Katrina, and just click on it, and you can click on Emily's profile, her business page, and a personal page to take advantage of this. She's good, and she knows our business as well. And I feel like if you're working with somebody as a life coach, it helps if they understand network marketing, if they understand the scope of work you're in, or they understand the business that you have partnered with, because it helps them help you better serve your people. So
this business catapulted me into that, because I realized I wanted to help people. People were coming at me and wanting to know more about changing their careers and things that were deeper than what I could do with health and fitness. And that is why I changed. But this business will always hold a special place in my heart, because it showed me what I needed to be doing with my life. So I feel this huge indebtedness to Beachbody for what they did for me personally. And I work out with it every single day on BOD. So there you go.
That's how you met me. Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, if you have any questions, reach out to her. Thank you, Emily. And one of the things I always believe is referral. My customer that I got today was a referral from one of my clients that I made a connection with on Twitter. And so pay it forward. Whatever little nugget you got from Emily, go ahead and give her a shout out publicly, because you never know who out there is struggling and might need her, even if maybe this isn't your time. So anyways, love you guys. We'll see you next week.